Well, welcome to my studio. Today we're going to the Caribbean. I'm working on a new commission, and this one is a courtyard with a door and a fountain overlooking the Caribbean Ocean. So, or Caribbean, however you want to say it. I know everybody says it differently. But I'm going to start with the sky. My composition has been sketched up on the canvas with a thin mixture of my mud plus liquid. And the mud is 2 parts of ultramarine blue and 1 part of alizarin crimson. And I mix that with liquid to make a thin oil wash. And I sketch up my entire composition on the canvas. Now I'm ready to start painting. I begin with the sky because the sky provides the light for the painting. It sets the tone for the entire piece. So we start with the sky. This is a mixture of cobalt blue plus white. And what I do is, and I can go over my sketch here, I use the blue to kind of map out where my clouds are going to be. And so I want some clouds here. It's just a beautiful sunny day. There's clouds off the horizon. And so we want to map out where these clouds are going to be. They're kind of puffy. And we'll have some going up all the way behind our archway. That helps, again, by having that light and darker pattern go behind that archway, helps to give the feeling of depth. Now as we come down, this again is cobalt blue plus white. Then I'm going to start working some white plus phthalo blue into that. Get this covered. You can see how I use the corner of that big square brush. That's called a bright brush. I can get in there and make smaller details. I may decide to bring that cloud up a little bit. I don't like that, so I can scrape that on with my painting knife. Be careful when you're doing that to use the side of your knife. You don't want to use the point because you might poke through your canvas. And that would not be a good thing to do. Particularly since this is a custom size canvas. It's 4 feet by 4 feet. So I would have to call my canvas maker and ask him to make me another one and ship it to me. So definitely don't want to do that. But I can just wipe that paint off. And you can see how my sketch remains. It's dried overnight. So that's how I want those clouds to be. Now coming down, I start working in a mixture of the phthalo blue plus white. And I just feather that in. I want the sky, the blue of the sky, to become lighter as it comes closer to the water, to the horizon. If you go outside and look at the sky on a clear blue day, you'll notice that it gets, as the sky domes over, it gets darker. As it comes closer to the earth, the light is filtered by the atmosphere and moisture in the air, and it becomes lighter and a little bit warmer, a little bit greener, I guess. That's the phthalo blue plus white, gives me that warmer, greener blue as we come down. Now I'm just going to go ahead and paint this all the way down. I'll paint my clouds over this. I've kind of got the upper part of my clouds established. They'll kind of come along the ocean. As I go along the ocean, then the lightest part of the sky is down here along the horizon. I'm going to paint over the horizon line because I'll come back and paint the ocean over that. And I'll have to do that. I want that edge to be soft as it goes back. So I just paint over my horizon line right now. I can come back and put that in. I know where it is. And then I make this transition between the two. This is a little bit darker up into the cobalt blue. Now, to make that transition a little bit smoother, I clean out my brush, wipe it real well. You can see I use a lot of tissue. I buy the cheapest toilet tissue that I can get. As Jack would say, it was not fit for human use, but it's perfect for painting. So, he used to say it was John Wayne tissue. It wouldn't take anything off of anybody, so I won't use his exact words, but you get the drift. And then I come down here, and again, this is lighter. Clean this out. The perspective looks a little bit odd because I have my camera to the left of my easel. That way you can see me paint. If I put it directly behind me, you wouldn't be able to see me painting. So there's just lightly, just drag your brush over that transition and kind of do it in a back and forth X pattern to just smooth that transition between the colors. You don't want a lot of texture in your sky, or I don't, because the texture takes your eye, draws your eye, and you want the sky to just, and clouds to just fall back into the distance. I like to keep that not real textured. When I first started painting, boy, my skies were real thick and textured, and they would come forward of everything else. That just was a learning process. Jack was a very patient teacher. Okay. Our sunlight is coming into the painting from the right-hand side. So now I'm going, then the left side of my clouds is going to be dark. This is a mixture of my mud plus white. And again, the mud is 2 parts of ultramarine blue and 1 part of alizarin crimson. And I've decided that I want to bring a little more blue sky down here. Just looking at this, I think I'm going to bring some blue sky here. I may let this cloud come up over here. And these are big giant birds of paradise that are coming down, these big leaves. And the clouds kind of come. I just drag them into that wet, that lighter mixture of phthalo blue plus white. And the left side of the clouds is going to be dark because the light's coming in from the right. Now this is a little lighter mixture of that same mud. It's got a little bit of extra ultramarine blue and just a tiny touch of cadmium orange, just to gray the white. Now, and then the white of the clouds, the sunlight part that's highlighted by the sun, is a little bit is my white plus a tiny touch of cadmium orange plus just a tiny touch of ultramarine blue. This makes I don't want the white is just a pure white because I'm going to have white flowers up in the foreground. So this has just got a touch of gray in it. Got some. Now I'll come back, and these are a little bit too much texture, but I'll come back and soften that a little bit. Got some blue down in here. And these clouds then behind these leaves again helps give the feeling of depth. paint my sky wet into wet. That way I can keep the edges of the clouds soft. And if I need to, I clean my brush. If I need to come back and soften some of those edges on the shadow side, I clean my brush out, and then I can actually take some of this shadow color, come over. I want to soften some of these brush strokes down here. Again, I don't want a lot of texture back here. I have a little bit more work to do on this, but this is basically how I block the sky in. I really appreciate you following along today. I really enjoy having you visit the studio and take a look at my blog where I show the complete step-by-step process of this painting along with others I do. You can follow the entire process, and you can also subscribe to my blog and you'll receive an email every time I make a new post. So I thank you, and you just have a wonderful, wonderful day.